On Saturday, I witnessed something truly amazing. A protest where I was with the majority. Usually, I go to the anti-oil, anti-pipeline, anti-everything protests in Vancouver, where I have to look over my shoulder, be the recipient of vulgar profanity, or hear that I'm right-wing scum. Not on Saturday, though. On Saturday, I went to Edmonton for the Rebel Rally for Alberta Families. Now, I've got to tell you, it was difficult to hear how things are in Alberta right now. But it was also great to hear those people tell me how appreciative they are for the Rebel and even my work covering and exposing the nature of the highly organized professional protests in Vancouver. It's given me a sense of what exactly is on the line right now if these pipeline projects don't get going and allow for some sort of economic uptick in Alberta. And with the recent approval of the Trans Mountain expansion by Kinder Morgan, I wanted to ask Albertans if that approval gives them any sense of hope that things might start turning around.
Brings a little bit of hope for sure, but with the way things are going here in Canada, I'll be honest, I wish I was an American almost at this point. But I still support Canadians. That's why I'm here. And I hope anybody else could do the same.
I think there's a glimmer of hope, finally. You see like the cloud is lifting and people are feeling a little better. So let's just hope that it creates more employment and gets people working. That's what it's all about. Instead of importing our oil like Eastern Canada does, which is completely wrong, and not supporting your own people. It's very frustrating. And it has to be straightened out, starting with the NDP in Alberta and our Mr. Trudeau Liberal government.
In a way, yes, but I thought Trudeau was continuing to be a gutless person, because what he did is he approved 2 pipelines along routes that didn't require new rights of way. So he should stop being a wimp.
All those things help. What I find is strange is that carbon tax is essentially a tax on our exports, yet we don't tax exports of electricity out of the province of Quebec.
There were also a number of passionate speeches, not only from politicians, but from my friend Bernard and other regular, everyday Albertans who are affected by the policies of Rachel Notley and the Alberta NDP. And let me make one thing abundantly clear. This is on the NDP, not simply low oil prices, as the left-wing narrative suggests. So I'll say it again. Just look at other oil-producing jurisdictions around North America and compare their current economic prospects and unemployment rates, and you will see some alarming differences that simply come down to government policy and the economic climate created by those policies. Now, you've probably heard about this rally through some of the press or social media reaction, mostly from the fancy elites in Ottawa and Toronto, talking about how the crowd broke into a "lock her up" chant, synonymous with Trump rallies the past few months. This happened while Conservative leadership candidate Chris Alexander was on the stage, and despite him attempting to change the chant to a "vote her out" chant, and him saying that's exactly what Albertans will do, vote her out, right after the chant ended, the backlash from these fancy people back east was swift. But here's why they are so wrong. First of all, the chant by the crowd was clearly meant to be provocative and humorous, given what we just saw in the US election campaign. Everybody knows that chant by now, and I don't really blame Albertans who are hurting so badly from Notley and the NDP policies for doing that. But how about when Rachel Notley and her government actually do break the law? Like when we got this pamphlet back from our Freedom of Information request asking for, quote, copies of any studies or analysis done on the potential impact of Alberta's new climate change plan and the carbon tax on industry and Albertans, unquote. Well, we didn't think that's all the NDP did, and sure enough, documents were leaked to the Calgary Herald saying the climate change plan could cost Albertans billions of dollars. There are lots of exemptions that can be made under access to information laws, but giving us this pamphlet when real studies were done is outside the law. And who could forget the gross negligence by the Notley government and the NDP, who failed to re-up cancelled water bomber contracts this year just days before the devastating Fort McMurray fire that claimed the homes of so many, including one of our speakers on Saturday. This is the kind of anger and frustration that could have emboldened Albertans to chant "lock her up" on Saturday. I don't think the lock her up chant was meant to suggest that those Albertans in the crowd want to see Rachel Notley thrown in jail simply because she is a politician and a left-wing politician at that. No. It's about the frustration with a government who refuses to listen and have purposely left out information that would prove many of the critiques against her and her government to be true. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. Thank you so much for watching, and if you were one of those Albertans who was out at the rally on Saturday, thank you so much for teaching this BCer what exactly is going on and how tough things are in your province right now. And if you like what we're doing here at The Rebel, well, go check out our plans for expansion at thebigplan.ca. We have a number of things that you can help us fund as we move forward and expand in 2017.